Hi there folks, welcome back to another video. Well, I haven't been putting up as many videos lately because I've been super busy doing some work actually. A neighbor has hired me to help them with their solar array and a variety of other projects. So I have this fantastic big solar array and I thought this would be an excellent way to harvest more rainwater. Well, I figured a logical way to hold the water that came off the solar panels would be to purchase one of those cattle watering tanks that you can get at Tractor Supply. Well, the tanks are excellent and people use them for a lot of things. The price really scared me away. So I thought, let's price the materials and see if I can build my own tank. And that's what I'm going to do. So stay tuned. So naturally, as you can imagine, folks, there's gaps between these solar panels, and the reason for that is for when it gets cold and super hot, that allows the panels to expand and contract appropriately. But I'm like, that's a lot of water loss through those cracks. So I did some thinking. What would I do here? Would I go underneath the panels and put strips of pond liner, like just little rubber strips, and tape those in place? That would work good. But it's a lot of work and also kind of awkward crawling underneath the panels. So I'm going to use this Gorilla Tape. It says it's water resistant and will hold in place even when it gets really wet repeatedly. We'll see. So I'm just rubbing over the tape to make sure that it's pressed down and stuck on good. And this is actually a lot easier than I thought. So I have to reach up really high on this one because I'm not very tall, so it's going to be a little difficult getting the tape all the way up to the top. Okay, we got the tools of the day. We got our reciprocating saw, and we've got our metal blade in here. I also have my wooden blade, not the best, needs to be replaced. We're going to be cutting the ends off those metal super struts or unistruts, and then also trimming off those 2x6 wooden supports as well. And again, the reason for doing that is so we can have those trimmed in a way that I can mount a gutter off the very end of those solar panels. The faster I get this project done means I can catch more free water from the rain. So this is the end part of this homemade DIY water tank. Now it's going to be 28 inches wide by 16 feet long and 24 inches high. So this has got to be really sturdy because, as you can imagine, water is really heavy and there's a lot of pressure going to be on this container. And the lesson I've learned, which I continue to learn, is don't be in too big a hurry. When in doubt, pre-drill. That should prevent any splitting. They say that splitting up is easy to do. That's not a real song, Don. Wow, that went in like butter, as they say. So now that we got these end pieces constructed, here's one. There's one way over there, as you can see. Then now you can see the layout of what this DIY tank is going to look like. Helps to have a battery on this. I think I better buy more of these DeWalt batteries. I'm all the time borrowing from another tool. They're all interchangeable, which is absolutely beautiful. That's better. Dandy. So naturally, before I try and put all this together, I need to do a bit of a dry fitting exercise. And hopefully, folks, you can now get an idea kind of what's going on with this. But I see right now I've made an error, which is pretty common for me. So in order to put the gutters under here, the DIY tank is a little too tall. So I'm going to have to dig the earth down and lower this just a little bit. Okay, I better get this done because before the rains start, I have to go to the gym and do my insanity workout. You know, I've got to keep fit. You know, I think I'll just pass on the gym today. Well, a brand new day and more digging. And the good thing is it's only 90 degrees today because it could be 108. Okay, we're making progress. The trench thing is almost dug. Got about another 18 inches or so. So on the home stretch. Got to have some ice water. I remember the first summer I was here, I had no ice, so no way to make ice. I didn't have any refrigerator. So I would just drink warm water and, you know, whatever. Unfortunately, I'm pretty adaptable. Warm water, cold water, I'm fine. Although I have to admit, the ice is nice. Almost finished. Whoa. Well, I didn't quite dig the trench for the water tank wide enough. I'm off a few inches, so let's correct that. Back to the digging. Yeah, I think this creation might actually work. So we'll start here by putting these 2x4 rails, bottom rails, and attaching those to this unit here. So now I've flipped the whole unit upside down, as you can see here. So let's make some of these bottom cross pieces that will add strength and integrity to the unit. The good thing is this is not fine cabinetry or anything like that. It can be pretty rough because they're just going to add structure and sturdiness to the bottom of the unit. What I like, there's hardly any wood being wasted on this. Because the water is going to run down into the gutters, and then I'll have a piece of plumbing that has the water dropping into my giant tank. So of course it really doesn't look much like a tank yet, but we're working on it, and when it's done, let's hope it works. So I've got 6 1-foot 2x4 pieces that are screwed to the supporting 4x4s. And that all looks great. The level is showing there's a bit of an incline this way, which is exactly what I wanted for the gutters. Okay, so now it's time to put together the gutters, and I've got the M1 caulking again. Okay. We'll figure it out. Okay, I dry fitted the little junction piece that was already painted, by the way, and popped that in. So now I got to pop it apart. And that's going to go on the short segment here. And I find that after 48 hours, it's all really hard and dried. There. Well, this wasn't complete, but nature had other ideas. It's like, hey, want to test out your new system? I'm like, it's not ready yet. Oh well. In desperation, I just put a 5-gallon bucket underneath the gutter. This really isn't this heavy a storm, to be honest, but this bucket's already half full and it's only been 5 minutes. Yeah, I think the solar panels will give us some water. That's 3 minutes before that bucket got filled. Even though this is pressure treated lumber, I know that eventually it will decay. So in order to help prevent that, I got some leftover pieces where I had cut off the super strut to go on my solar array there, and I just used it as support, and that brings everything off the bare dirt. And I'll fill this in with some dry sand, something that's a little less prone to rotting. So it's going to be a little awkward. I'm going to have to crawl under the solar array to put those 2x4 railings in place. So it's a little bit overkill to use these 4-inch Timberlock screws, but I had them laying around and they do such a phenomenal job of taking pressure treated lumber that's stubborn and dry and won't fit together, and it sure does with this. These things mean business. Well, I have to admit, at almost 100 degrees today, even I'm moving a little slow, and I'm really heat tolerant. But this has got to get done. Not a perfect fit here, but it's designed just to be put together in a way that's sturdy and not aesthetically perfect. So how cool is this, folks? I had all these pieces left over when I built my solar array here, so I'm going to make good use of them. They're going to be used as ribs, if you follow my drift, to make the whole unit much sturdier. So I just need to cut them to size and put them in place. I would say the battery's just about had it. So I've got another one. Now, if I had some toy trucks and cars, I could have fun playing in the sandbox. So this tank is actually 16 feet long. Every 24 inches, we're going to add a rib in here for support, and that should help a lot. So for added strength, folks, you'll see I've added these metal hurricane ties. So I'm using 1.5 inch Simpson strong tie screws. There we go. Last one. Okay, well, we had a really serious rain last night, and I was just so frustrated this is not completed and not able to gather rainwater yet. So today what I'm doing here is hopefully finishing up the inside. So I've had a lot of scrap lumber left over from a variety of projects. What's that old rock song? Blinded by the light? Blinded by the light, etc., etc. Actually, I think I need to put the sides in first. So in order to fill the cracks and crevices, they don't have to be waterproof because, again, there's going to be a plastic liner in here. But I just wanted to fill in all the cracks and make this even sturdier. And this stuff, called grade stuff, tends to adhere things together too. So that'll provide some tensile strength to the styrofoam interior. Okay, pretty exciting time. Now I'm going to put the plastic liner in my DIY tank. And what I learned from doing a pond was that you need to have a really expensive thick liner just to deal with anything that could poke through and cause problems. So I want to make this affordable. So I may regret this, but I got the only 6mm thick Home Depot sheet of plastic that's 10 by 25. Now my thinking behind this was I want to save money on this tank, and it was less than $20, so if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But it's a far cry from about $200 for really serious rubber liner. The other reason for doing this is this plastic is going to be very, very well protected by this very, very soft but firm foam board. So as long as nobody hops in there or does any damage to the plastic, I'm hoping this will work, but we'll see. So as you can see, folks, the water running off the solar panels, again down into the gutter, all the way over to this section here, where the water goes down through this cavity here, this drain that I put on here. So what I've done here is create a bit of a bulkhead. It's pretty crude, but I'm going to redo this and plumb this up much better a little later on. So it's really important to tell you folks that this is temporary, because I'm actually going to have this all covered over so that then the plastic is protected from the harsh sun, which can do a number on plastic pretty quick here. And also just to keep dirt and crud from getting in there. And so we'll do a nice cover, and you'll see that happen in the next video. But I've got to put this all in place because we're supposed to have a storm coming up later this evening, and I could get my very first water in this, which would be really exciting. So I'm going to batten down the hatches here with this, and then just carry on. So I hope this was helpful in some way, folks, showing how you can obtain all kinds of free water from your solar panels. And if it was interesting in some way, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. No end of projects coming up. And also ring the notification bell. That'll let you know when my next video is coming up. And I really appreciate you watching here. Thanks so much. See you on the next video.